Ladies and gentlemen, spoiler alert, my name is Keith and I'm a little bit hyper. I want to talk to you about WrestleMania 32. Had the opportunity of seeing it, now I want to review it. First of all, don't believe the hype. It is not as bad as a lot of the critics are making it out to be. I hear some people are saying it's one of the worst WrestleManias they've seen. It's really big, but it's not great. I'll tell you my 2 cents, and again, take it with a grain of salt, but for somebody who's seen them all, I don't think it was that bad. Coming off of last year's WrestleMania, it would be impossible to top it. With all due respect, you're not going to have Ronda Rousey there. You're not going to have somebody cash in the Money in the Bank like they did last year. You're not going to have Sting wrestling in his first match, because he's already done that. You're not going to have NWO and DX in the same ring. There are so many things that you couldn't have at this year's WrestleMania. Coupled with the fact that the WWE was plagued with injuries. John Cena is injured. Sting is injured, which forced him into retirement. Seth Rollins, Cesaro. The list goes on and on and on. Randy Orton. So many wrestlers that are injured this year. I believe the WWE made the best with what they had. And keeping in mind that people knew going in that they didn't have a full staff, they still set a new attendance record with over 100,000 people in attendance to watch WrestleMania. Fantastic. So I want to talk about the good, I want to talk about the bad, I want to talk about, everything. So a couple of things that I was pretty much neutral on. Did I say neutral on? No, that I was neutral on. First of all, the Usos tag team match against the Dudleys. An enjoyable match, but my problem is that I feel I see it all the time. The fault of a 3-hour Raw and a 2-hour SmackDown per week. You see this dynamic so much, so you put it on the grand stage of WrestleMania, it doesn't exactly have a huge effect, which is precisely why it was probably in the pre-show. League of Nations, A New Day, another match that I don't necessarily think was great or terrible, but I went crazy as soon as I saw Shawn Michaels, Mick Foley, and Stone Cold Steve Austin come out. I'm just really happy that my neighbors weren't calling and saying, "Are you okay? Should we send somebody? Because we're hearing a lot of screaming coming from your house." But nonetheless, an extremely, extremely enjoyable fanboy moment, but not the match itself, not fantastic. I want to talk about some of the things I didn't like, and then I want to go and end this on a positive and talk about all the things I did like. The Kalisto Ryback match, nothing exciting there. Again, precisely why it was on the kickoff show. A lot of people are talking about the pre-show Divas tag match. It wasn't very exciting. It was kind of interesting because last year a lot of the women that were in that, well, not a lot, but several of the women that were in that match were featured on the main pay-per-view. But one of the things I did like was getting to see Nikki Bella, and that got a big round of applause. Not that I'm a huge Nikki Bella fan. I'm neither for nor against. It's just the fact that here's somebody who's dealing with a serious neck injury, and it was great seeing her come out. So a couple of things. Again, I'm not saying there were things that I really didn't like, but the Taker Shane McMahon match, it was so weirdly promoted. Okay, if Shane wins, he gets control of Raw, but if Undertaker doesn't win, then we're never going to see him at a WrestleMania again, which wouldn't really make sense, because if Shane had control, couldn't Shane just say, "Undertaker, come back to Mania"? So I had a whole problem with that whole storyline to begin with. I know they were trying to backfill and find somebody for Taker. My guess is they wanted to go with Sting. Once they found out that wasn't a possibility, Shane McMahon stepped up. Shane McMahon wrestled his ass off, and let's give him credit. He did a phenomenal job. People are going to be talking about him leaping off that 20-foot structure for a long time to come. I think this match would have been better even if Vince McMahon had showed up, because Vince McMahon was such an integral part of this. He's the one who pretty much put this match together, but he was nowhere to be found. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not crazy. I know he's in the back making sure that WrestleMania is running smoothly, but he's been on camera for WrestleManias before, and it would have really helped improve this match if he was out there. So I would have loved to have seen that. The Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, again, I don't necessarily think there was anything huge about this match. There were no real stakes and stipulations other than the fact that you get to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So, good on you. The heavyweight title match. I'm jumping to the main event here. I used to be the type of guy that would criticize Triple H. This was years ago. I'd be like, why is he winning all this? Oh, because he's with Stephanie. That was very poor thinking on my part, because I've got so much respect for this guy. Wrestling through injuries, doing so much for the business, doing so much to put people over. Again, I think this was a situation where they needed somebody in the main event, and they put him in there. And It would have been nice perhaps to see some outside interference or have something happen. I think we're all hoping for a run-in, but they wanted Roman Reigns to win it cleanly. He did. I don't necessarily know how he's going to get over as champion, but again, kudos to Triple H for wrestling a decent match, as well to Roman Reigns. Just by listening to the audience, it just didn't seem like they were really into it. So again, when I look at that match, not one of the highlights for me from this year's WrestleMania. Again, it's not the worst match that I've ever seen, but it's just not a WrestleMania caliber match. So I want to talk about some of the things I really liked. I really liked the fact that the WWE put a belt on Zack Ryder. Here's a guy, he's a journeyman who's been around the company for several years, and he's been pretty much that guy who kind of comes out, gets the crowd going in the opening match, and that's about it. Won the Intercontinental title in a fantastic ladder match, so congratulations to him. I thought that was great. Chris Jericho, AJ Styles. When this match was announced, I thought, okay, this is going to be a throwaway match. This is going to be one of those matches that you see early on in the card. It's not going to have much meaning. Yes, it was early on in the card, but wow, it was fantastic. These two took us to school in terms of what a fantastic wrestling match is. It kind of made me, long for the Eddie Guerrero days, because it was wrestled so magnificently. So hats off to both of them. Dean Ambrose. Okay, I thought this match was silly when it was first made. I mean, Brock Lesnar fought Triple H at WrestleMania. Then he fought The Undertaker, ended the streak. Then we saw him in this title fight with Roman Reigns, and now he's fighting Dean Ambrose. I didn't necessarily think Dean Ambrose would be a very entertaining opponent. Was I wrong? The stipulation of a street fight, I think, played right into what Dean Ambrose's style needed. I found that match very entertaining and a lot better than I thought it would be. So kudos to both of those gentlemen for pulling off such a great entertaining matchup. Stop what you're doing, because I need to talk to you about the Divas match, or the Women's Championship. But you know what? Hang on a second. Hang on. I've been talking a lot. Can we just give me a second here? Let's a little dance break. Come on, chair dance with me. Sorry, but after watching WrestleMania, you hear that song like 20, 30 times. You get to the point where you might as well go with it. You got a chair dance. Okay, let's talk about the Women's Championship. So it's no longer called the Divas. It's called the Women's Championship, which is fine. Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. Okay, when this match was first made, I was thinking to myself, is this an NXT takeover? Because why isn't Paige involved? Why don't we have a Bella involved? What's going on? Okay, with all due respect to Paige, to Brie Bella, to all the other ladies in this division, I was blown away by this match, and it was one of the best matches of the night. Fantastic introductions, fantastic openings, if you will, or ring entrances, excuse me. But as soon as this match started, it was amazing. Like, forget the fact that you're watching a quote-unquote women's match. These ladies can wrestle. They pulled off such a fantastic match, such amazing acrobatic talent, such ring presence, such ring knowledge. I was absolutely impressed with this. I have no idea what they were teaching you down at NXT, but whatever it is, it's working. Let's keep it going. Loved this match. Of course, you always want to see the bad girl, aka Charlotte, lose. But I mean, again, having her father, the dirtiest player in the game, in her corner, you kind of expect it to end that way. But phenomenal match. I really enjoyed it. Which kind of takes me to the impromptu appearance of The Rock. The Rock, of course, came out and announced the attendance, then got confronted by the Wyatts, and then had some run-in help by John Cena, who, again, isn't cleared to wrestle, but again, here's a guy who wants to do everything he can for the business. And that was one of those moments that had me up on my feet screaming, and for the second time, my neighbors are like, what the heck is going on over there? Can we come? I love the whole Rock John Cena moment. I thought it was phenomenal. We keep talking about WrestleMania moments, and this is definitely one of them. I'm not going to say they stole the show, but they definitely had me up on my feet screaming, and I wish that level of excitement had carried over into the main event, but it didn't. But it was still great seeing them. And just on a side note, people pay money, they can cheer for or boo anybody they want to. I will never understand, and I talked to somebody about this I remember some random guy when we were in San Jose for WrestleMania last year. I'll never understand the mentality of booing John Cena. Here's a guy who does so much charity work, so much for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, fighting cancer, things of that nature, and he always gets booed. Anytime I see somebody booing John Cena, it's like, okay, I've recognized what an idiot looks like, because it makes no sense to me. Have so much respect for him and all the great work that he does. But again, to each their own. As far as WrestleMania is concerned as a whole, listen, I will tell you, I went into this thinking it's not going to be that great, and in all honesty, it was better than I thought it would be. Given, again, the injuries, I think they did a really good job. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I'd probably give this WrestleMania B-. Again, going up against last year's, it'd be hard to beat. But again, I thought they did a really good job. What do you guys think? Let me know. Not about my chair dancing. That's, of course, an A+. But let me know what you thought about this year's WrestleMania if you had a chance to see it. CFL_fan on Twitter. Facebook.com/WittyWhittier and WittyWhittier.com. I appreciate you taking the time to check this out. This blog is running at about 11 minutes, a lot shorter than the 7 hours that WrestleMania was. What's up with that, eh? Can we just make that a little shorter? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, my name is Keith, and you take care. Bye.